Very good morning to all the learners. Today we'll be discussing on three units, that is Unit 8, Unit 9 and Unit 10. So Unit 8 is about job evaluation methods, and Unit 9 is about task analysis, and Unit 10 is about personal office functions and operations. So starting with job evaluation methods, we will start. We'll go ahead. So after going through this unit, you'd be able to identify and develop an understanding of the methods of job evaluation and know what are the steps involved in the application of various methods. There are around 4 to 5 methods of job evaluation, and then appreciate the advantages as well as the disadvantages of various job evaluation methods, and have a knowledge of the recent developments in job evaluation. And we have in the previous section we have learned that basically when we talk about job evaluation, it should be equal pay for substantially equal work, and it's a corollary of variation in rates of base pay in proportion to substantial differences in the difficulty, responsibility and qualifications requirement of the work performed. Now, coming to job evaluation methods and job ranking, there is this techniques which have been commonly used to commonly used tend to fall into one of the two main categories. One is the non-analytical, and the other is the analytical. Non-analytical methods are job ranking and job classification, and analytical methods are point rating or assessment and factor comparison. So basically, when we talk about job evaluation methods, they are very systematic, and it has been used to determine the value or worth of different jobs within an organization, within a corporate sector. Now, these methods are usually used to help to establish a hierarchy or ranking of jobs, like the lower level, the middle level, the higher level, like, you have the assistant level, then you have the mid level, the supervisory, then the executive level, then the general manager level, the higher authority. So that is what is hierarchy is being maintained. So ranking of jobs based, what are the, like, based on their complexity, responsibility, and what are the skill requirements and other relevant factors that is being essential for the particular job. Now, this the purpose of job evaluation is to make sure that the internal equity in terms of compensation, and to establish a fair and consistent basis for determining the salary levels. Now, there are several commonly used job evaluation methods which we'll discuss in this chapter. Like there are usually, one is the ranking method, and one is the classification method. Another is point factor method, which is very important. Then factor comparison method, and you have the last one is the ranking method, one is the grading method, one is the point method, and the other is the factor compensation method. So coming to the ranking method, when we talk about when we talk about basically job classification or grade description, before that, I mean, this is the second one. First we'll talk about the ranking method. Now, ranking method, where the jobs are ranked from the highest level to the lowest level based on their value to the organization. Now, this method is very simple, and it may lack objectivity and can be difficult to apply in large organizations with a wide range of jobs. Now, you can say this ranking method, this is a very simple method of job evaluation. And under this ranking method, a committee is basically formed, and this committee usually consists of executives as well as representatives of the employees, and the committee evaluates the job and then rank them according to their relative importance. Now, attempts are not made to break the jobs by specific criteria. Jobs are rated as a whole. Now, jobs are compared as difficult and simple, and they are ranked and arranged to the ascending order of sequence. Now, ranking of jobs usually it takes place in the way given below. Now, there are some, you can say, this is here. This is the ranking method. Sorry, I took you to the grading method. So the simplest, this is the simplest and least formula for job evaluation system is known as the ranking method. And it has some merits of ranking method. Like what are the merits? It has advantages as well as the disadvantages. Coming to the merits method, the this method is quite simple and it is very easy to understand, and employees can understand it very easily. Now, what happens? Each job, compare them and rank them according to the ascending order and their importance. And the committee then sit together and they discuss about the ranking of the jobs. Differences, there are some differences are resolved, and final ranking of job is prepared. It may be decided by majority votes or taking averages of the rankings. For comparing jobs, rater take into consideration some of the factors as a how supervision of subordinates, then your leadership skills, then the cooperation with other departments or other staffs, then minimum what is the educational qualifications, experience and training, and what are the likelihood of errors while doing this job. So there are advantages as well as disadvantages. What are the advantages of ranking method? Now this method is quite simple and it is very easy to understand, and employees are basically they you can say they can understand it very easily, and it is the most suitable method for small size organization. Now ranking method is basically used for small size organization, and it does not require much cost, so you can say it is very less expensive, comparatively less expensive to other methods that is being used. And of course at the same time it is very less time consuming, and few there are, as usual, there are few forms that to be filled up by the rater, so less work is involved. Now coming to the demerits, what are the disadvantages? Talking to the disadvantages, there are certain demerits of the system also. Ranking is basically done on subjective judgment, and there is every likelihood of biased judgment in ranking of jobs. So it is silent on how the one job is different from another. And the fourth one is it is only the rank, which it only gives rank, but does not specify the degree of importance attached to each job. Now, as you can say, when this job is completed, grade levels are defined and salary groups are formed. And in future, new jobs can be graded or existing jobs regarded with reference to the established gradings on a job to job basis. Now, coming to the second one is the grading method. Now, what is the grading method? When we are talking about grading method, so what is grading method? Grading method is also a very also a non-quantitative method, and it is this method is similar to ranking, as in both the methods neither points nor money values are used to classify the job. However, classification differs from ranking as there is the order of operations is reversed. Now, these grades are determined and the jobs are graded by reference to that context. Now, this method you can say it is an improvement. It is better than the ranking method. Initially, we talked about the ranking method, and the grading method is, you can see, it is an improvement over the ranking method. Under this method, predetermined scale or grade is provided, and this grades or classifications is determined in advance by an unauthorized body or a committee appointed for the purpose. Now, grades or scales are determined on the basis of information, you can say, supplied by job analysis. And the you can also say the committee, there's a committee for that, and the committee, after studying the job description, carefully compare each job, and they weigh in the light of skill, then competence. These are different factors, the skill, the competence, then you have knowledge, experience required. And the committee also assigns a class or grade to each job, and the classification is used as a standard for fixing the pay scales. Now for in this in especially in this grading description, you can say uh, like jobs can be classified into several grades, because the word grade is mentioned, so it can be classified into several grades, such as there are skilled, there are unskilled, there are general clerks, then accounts clerk, then typists, then there are office superintendent, then there are laboratory assistant, then workshop superintendent, etc. Or you can say, class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4 stuff, etc. And this system of job evaluation is quite simple. Now, see, our tourism industry is a skill based, especially the hospitality industry is a very skill based industry, so there are skilled people also and unskilled people also, and especially our prime minister Modi ji is very much emphasizing on skill, so there are also universities are there, which is they are focusing on the particular skill, and they are giving much importance on the skill, and different programs are there where that is being conducted by this hotel management colleges, tourism organizations like Indian Institute of Tourism, IITTM, Indian Institute of Tourism and Travel Management. Then we have, excuse me, then we have the Institute of Hotel Management and Catering Technology and Applied Nutrition, which comes under Ministry of Tourism. So they are organizing various skill-based programs, and those programs are very short term, maximum 1 month. Some programs are 1 month, some programs are 2 months. For example, you take the example of tourism industry, there are tour guides. These tour guides, usually these programs are for 1.5 2 months. So they want that employment, I mean, nobody should stay unemployed, everybody should be employed. So especially the villagers and all, for example, for instance, you take the example of the villagers, the so this government, different government organizations, especially which are under the Ministry of Tourism, they conduct all this type of programs. They go to the rural areas and they conduct these short term programs where they can usually provide the training and skill the workforce, skill the people, minimum qualifications required and all, so that they can later on, when lot of job opportunities are being given also. So especially for this when we are talking about grade description, when we are talking about this job grade description, now these jobs are classified by comparing each job to the descriptions provided. Okay, now as I told you, each job, suppose you are a supervisor, so you have a job description, what is, whom you should report to, what are your responsibilities and all, you have a description of job. So as per that, the work is the job, there's a committee who's the committee is being set up, and the grading takes place. And basically it depends on the skills, responsibilities, your experience, and your educational qualifications and so on. Now these are very basic factors, but the choice and number of factors depend on the nature of the organization's activities. Like if it is a small organization, it has a different way of grading. If it's a large organization, it has a different way of grading, depends on the organization, and of course there are some merits of grading method, and this method is, you can say, quite simple, and it can be very easily understood by the employees, and of course it is also at the same time a very flexible method, and it can be applied to large number of variety of jobs. It is used in grading of government, you can say, government services, and the government jobs are basically divided into different classes, class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4. Class 4 is basically the lower level stuff, and class 1 is the most higher level, they say class 1 officer, whereas the class 4 are basically, who are usually the cleaning and all, they do all those, and class 2 or 3, this is basically the administrative, like clerical jobs and also there, and 3 and 4, they are basically, the fourth one is the highest level. Okay, so the various jobs are grouped into classes or grades, and this simplifies salary administration. So you have a, when you are in a job, when you are in a when you are associated with any organization, you are under a pay scale, you have a grade pay and all. So this depends on the job you are conduct, the job you are responsible for. Like that is how the grading is being done. And if there is growth in number of jobs, they can be easily fit in the grades that already exist. But at the same time, there are some demerits also. Coming to the demerits, you can see uh, the demerits. The method has several demerits also, and the method is not free from personal bias, and personal bias of the committee members play a major role in matching grade with a job. And it is less flexible. This is not flexible as we have discussed in the previous method, that is the ranking method, ranking method. So this is less flexible and hence not suited for large organizations having multiplicity of jobs. And with the increasing jobs, their grading becomes difficult also, because large, an organization having 100 employees, so it is very difficult, maybe 100 to more than 1,000 employees. So it's very difficult. This is very suitable for organizations which are having to 200, 300 employees. So this method relies heavily on job title instead of detailed verification of job contents. So it is usually, you can say, skills, knowledge. Always remember, these are very important: skills, knowledge, experience, responsibility required. These are the basic factors which are generally used, but the choice and number of factors depend on the nature of the organization's activities. Now, coming to the point rating. Now, what is point rating? Point rating is probably the now most common method used for job evaluation in many countries, and it employs clearly defined factors and allot numerical points. Now, this is, you can say, this is widely being used, and under this system, a manual is basically prepared highlighting the various factors. As I have already informed you, the factors include education, skills, competence, knowledge, training, responsibility, then job conditions, complexity, hazards, coordination, physical and mental efforts, as well as mechanical abilities. So, so many points are there. Now, these jobs are rated on the basis of these factors, which work as yardstick. Means yardstick, they are used for measuring. Okay, yardstick for evaluation. That is how it is being evaluated. In all the jobs, some of these factors are very inherent. What are the factors I told? These factors can be education. These factors include education. It includes skill. It includes your competence. It includes the knowledge, the training, the responsibility, then the job conditions, then there's complexity. There are hazards also involved, coordination, physical and mental efforts, mechanical ability, etc. Why is this? I'm telling you hazards in the sense. Suppose, for example, you all are all learning about, you all are studying about tourism and all. So most of your jobs would involved in, maybe working for travel agents, maybe working for hospitality industries and all. Okay, so that is a comfort level job, you can see, like, comparatively. But suppose if you work for organizations where, if you work for some coal mines, and suppose oil and natural gas companies and all, where, many hazards are associated, so working in those organizations, it's really difficult also, because it has an impact on your health. So, especially those, employees working for those organizations, they are highly paid. So there are, as I told you, there are a lot of factors which have to be taken into account when this evaluation rating method takes place. Now, what these factors are, basically they act as yardsticks for the evaluation purpose. And in all the jobs, some of these factors are inherent, like all are not required also. Now, the comparative weighing of these factors against each other determines the degree of the importance, how important it is, and the suitable point value is then assigned to each factor, and the job is then evaluated on the basis of the sum total of these points contained in it. The point value is assigned to each degree, and the mechanism of the system works in the following manner. There are manners like, determination of jobs has to be evaluated, the number of factors, then the division of factors into degrees, assigning point values to degrees, job evaluations. There are a lot of things. So when these factors in the point schemes are selected, one should ensure that they are considered as most important in determining the relative degree of difficulty or responsibility for the work of others, working conditions, resources control, managerial as well as supervisory jobs. There are then contacts, managerial and clerical jobs, and physical efforts. And there are some manual jobs. Sometimes what happens nowadays, there are also some organizations, like you have all these companies, facility management companies. They hire people, workforce, but they are not on their payroll, and so these they are not being given all these benefits. So those who are on the payroll of the organizations, they are being given lot of benefits, and depending on this job evaluation, they are being given promotion, they are being given salary high, then incentives, and so on. Okay. Now, yes. So, preparing an evaluation plan. The preparation of the evaluation plan usually involves the following steps: selecting and defining the factors, and dividing the factors into degrees, weighing the factors, that is, weighing the factors, and allocating points to each degree. Now, what are selecting and defining factors? This is very important. While selecting the factors, the representative sample of benchmark jobs cover all the major occupations and levels of responsibilities are covered under this scheme. So, dividing the factors into degrees. Once the factors are selected, they must be divided into degrees to make them operational. So, you have to prepare a preliminary definition of each factor and divide it into degrees of levels of which is also defined. And it is evident that the degree that must be clearly defined and graduated as far as the number of degrees is concerned, which is largely a matter of common sense. But however, one must remember that too many degrees will complicate the evaluation process, unnecessarily. So, even a small scheme having only 2 or 3 degrees will not sufficiently differentiate jobs from each other. So, it is useful to restrict the number of levels to 5 or 6, and it is not always necessary for each factor to have the same number of degrees, but it is important that the degree should enable all jobs from the highest to the lowest to be placed in order of importance that everybody can recognize. Now, weighing the factors, what do you mean by weighing the factors? It is unlikely that each factor will be of equal significance. For example, there are 4 generic factors, okay? One is the skill, one is the effort, one is the responsibility, and the fourth one is the working conditions are chosen. The relative importance of each of them will vary a great deal depending on the work done and the occupations concerned. So, generally speaking, you know, skill is very important. As I told you, the hospitality industry is a skill based industry. For example, you are suppose you can cook well, okay, you can cook well. So, tomorrow you can have your own outlet, even with a single you yourself and a single staff, you can run a small outlet, so food outlet, you can run a food outlet. And if you have the skill to prepare the food well, or your preparation of the food is well, then obviously you can run a successful business. And if it goes on well, then tomorrow you can open a restaurant having 50 to 60 covers. So that is what is it is a very skill based. If you can cook well, you can you can win the heart of the people. If it's being said, it is there's a saying, if you want to win the heart of the people, you should go through the stomach. It means that if you cook well, you can easily, if you can cook well and if you can make others eat your the preparation, your signature dish, it would win your people will love you, people will easily, you will be your, you can win their heart. That is what is mean to say. So what is it is a very skill based, whether you can talk very well, you can be a good tool leader, or whether you can be a good chef, you can cook well, or whether if you have a selling responsible selling skills, so you can be a good sales executive and all. So this all depends, skill. So that is the important, skill is very much given importance. Okay, so generally speaking, skills are very important than efforts in technical occupations, and responsibility is the most important factor in managerial jobs. Therefore, the relative importance of each of the factors selected has to be determined. In other words, the factors need to be weighted, basically weighed. So one way of arriving at a preliminary weighing is to rank factors in order of importance and allot each of them a percentage arrived at by discussion in the evaluating committee or between the analyst and the persons involved. Now, allocating points to each degree. Once the relative importance of the factors has been determined in a preliminary way and the factors suitably divided into degrees, so each degree must be assigned a numerical value. And these are the values that will be used in determining the total point values of jobs. That is how you are being evaluated, how much you score. And the point values the ascribed to the degrees may follow the arithmetical, geometrical, or variable progression. So, what are the basically merits of point method? This method has some important merits. So, it provides numerical ways for determining the wage differentials. Analysis of job factors make it possible have a measure of value of job, and it is a systematic method. You can say it is a systematic method of job evaluation, and workers of the organization usually favor this type of method. That is your point method rating system, and it is less manipulative as free from the human bias. Okay, and it makes possible to place jobs in different categories, and also the skills that is being developed in the process that can be used for a longer period of time. And assigning points to the factors makes it more possible to assign money values to the points, and it is more suitable method where large number of jobs exist. That is basically, you can say this is suitable for big organizations, large organizations. And it also do have some demerits. What are the demerits? It's a very expensive method. It is very time consuming. It is not suitable for small organization. It is suitable for large organizations, and it is time consuming. So determine job factors and their comparative advantage consume a lot of time, and assigning point value to the factors is too difficult, and it is, yes, it is not also simple to understand also. A lot of clerical work is involved in recording rating skills, and but in spite of this demerits, the point method, you can say, is widely being used by the organizations because of its advantages and all. Okay, so that is there are nowadays lot of softwares are also available in the market, to so you did not do all this clerical job and all. You have these factors, there are different variables are there, factors are there, you you just to put into all those, and then it will be evaluated. So you can also do with the help of spreadsheet, excel sheet, you can do with the help of excel sheet. So that is also possible. So you have to validate the factor plan, and it plays a very decisive role in all point rating schemes. And as a general rule, once it is officially adopted, so no major amendment can be made. So it is essential that the proposed plans should be carefully tested on a number of job descriptions. That is why validating is very much required. And if necessary, the weighing or definitions of degrees must be amended and the test repeated several times until it gives a satisfactory result. And the tested factor plan is then submitted to the evaluating committee or other decision making organization for adoption. So there is another method which I have not mentioned here, but yes, just to let you know, There is another is a factor comparison method. So what is basically a factor comparison method? A factor comparison method is usually it's an evaluating professional, and it is basically for the managerial positions, and it is a combination of, you can say, the ranking method as well as the point method. That is the reason it is known as factor comparison method. And it rates the job basically by comparing them, like that in ranking method. And it makes analysis by subdividing jobs into compensable factors, like that in the point method. And especially under this method, each job, under this method, each job is ranked for each compensated factor separately. So, and each job factor is being very broadly defined. And the most common factor used in job evaluation includes same thing: skills, your physical requirements, your mental requirements, working conditions, as well as the responsibilities. And the mechanisms for evaluating jobs under this system, like in a comparison factor comparison method, it involves the key jobs are basically selected, and these key jobs include those which belong to the range of jobs under consideration. Now these jobs are the standard jobs basically, against which all jobs are evaluated, and the members of the committee rank the jobs on each factors. And the factors are the same factors, like your skill, the physical requirement, the mental requirements, work conditions, and responsibilities. And after that, wages are fixed for various compensable factors for each key job, and all the jobs are compared with key jobs and evaluated factor by factor. And after that, a wage structure is prepared, that has been designed and then implemented in an organization. Now this what are the merits of method? Now, this system has some merits, advantages, as well as disadvantages. Talking about the advantages, it is a systematic method of evaluating the manual, clerical, and supervisory positions, and it is a more objective method of job evaluation, because arbitrary weightage is not given, and it is a very comparative process of rating the jobs against a numerical benchmark, and it is very easy to understand, and there is no bias also, and it facilitates determining the relative worth of different people in an organization. And basically this method also facilitates association of new jobs introduced in the organization with the grade or the class. Now the validity of this system is greater than any other system. Now, similarly, it this method has also some demerits. Like this is a very expensive method, and for this method, you need to employ experts also, and the employees sometimes find it difficult to understand. And the jobs are evaluated basically on the basis of comparative analysis of five factors, which are appropriated to them. And under this method, the job evaluation, as I've already mentioned, it is done by expert, and the top management has to rely on them. So it is quite difficult to assign weightage to each factor. And now what happened, I'm just telling you, nowadays everything is being so systematically done and all. Earlier, it was the organizations used to have HR department, that is human resource department. So the other name of human resource department is also personal department. But now what happens, especially in the hotels, I'm talking about the hotels, they have subdivided, they have made a department, training department, HR and training department. So training department, what happens? HR department usually takes care of your pay scale, your leaves, your gratuity, your incentives, your bonus, your leaves and all, LTCs, leave travel concessions, all these that is being handled by the HR department. But talking about the training department, what happened, whenever anyone joins a new organization, the orientation program takes place. Then there are different modules of trainings are being developed by them. So this training department, they only take care of the training of the new employees. So when a new employees are being orientation, that is the orientation takes place, they take care of the orientation program, they take care of the different training programs. Because especially not only in the hospitality industry, but other industries like the banking sector, the insurance companies, then the you can say pharmaceutical companies and all. Lot of you can say organizations. I mean, they are coming up with lot of initiatives to and promoting new products, launching new products. But only launching products doesn't solve the issues. You have to know how to what are the benefits, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages, what are the how to sell the product into the market. So for that you need a proper training. So this what happened, this training department, especially in the hotel industry, in the hospitality industry, there is a separate department like the training department, who gives proper training, and not proper training to the different interns. But because when suppose you join a hotel or you join the industry, you have to work in various you have to know about the various departments. There is the HR department, there is the maintenance department, there is the accounts department. So you should be a little bit have an awareness. Not only that, as I told you, new software are there, how to work, because now mostly everybody is working on the computers and all. So they should know new softwares are being developed, how to work on that softwares, or how to implement that. So for this, many training modules, they prepare those training modules, they conduct training classes, they impart this training to the new employees, the existing employees. So these are being done frequently in organizations, and these has to be done in the organizations for the growth of the organization. So that is very important. So what to summarize on this, especially this, yesterday we have already, I have given you about already detail about what is job evaluation. So this how job evaluation, there are various methods. This is because HR is a separate department only. Suppose tomorrow you want to work for the hotels, or you want to work for in tourism organization, and then you thought, no, okay, I have this knowledge about tourism, I have a certificate, but I wanted to shift to the HR department. So it is not that very easy. You have to undergo some courses. You can go for some short-term courses. You can go for some long-term courses, because HR is a huge department, and it is a very important department of an organization, of any organization, whether it is a small organization or whether it's a large organization. So that is very important. So in this unit, we have learned about job evaluation, how job evaluation proceeds, job analysis, and job description. And now, as I've discussed, there are few methods which you should know. This is you need not go in depth, but yes, you should have an information that is very in depth. You may not go in depth, but you should have a little bit knowledge. Okay, now what is job hierarchy? When you'll be joining an organization, you may join as an intern, then you may move to a supervisory level, then maybe managerial level, then the senior manager level. So that is how the every organization has an hierarchy. Okay, so depending on its needs as well as on the ethos, an organization could pick up any of the available methods. Like we have already discussed about 4 methods, depending on the depending on the volume of the you can say the size of the organization, then number of employees of the organization. So these are the factors which related to that you can select the methods. Okay, and it is also open to an organization to develop a method that may combine the features. They may combine two or one or two methods. And what is important is that the chosen method, whatever method that is being chosen, should secure the satisfaction of all concerned. See what happens if I'm not aware of you, like whether you all are just students or you all have some working experience and all. So if you all are associated with any organization, you might have sometimes oh, this HR department doesn't give us bonus, or this HR department gives us so less increment in a year. Some, especially this IT sectors, IT sectors, they have huge, incentives, as well as your high salary every year, increment, they may be having 15 to 20% increment. But in hotel industry and all the tourism industry, they may be having 3% in or 4%. So that time you just feel, you feel very not, you are not satisfied, and that time you keep on cursing the HR department. HR department is giving only 3% increment or 4% increment. They are not giving a less. Whenever anything bad happens, we just curse the HR department. So I mean, I mean, because they are the one who is, you can say, ruling, who has to be given what salary. So, and they are very stingy also, you can say, very stingy in, that is what we have the impression about the HR department. Anyway, so it is, the chosen, whatever the method that is being chosen by the organization, it should secure the satisfaction of all concerned. Here, satisfaction of all concerned means the satisfaction of the employees. It is very much necessary, because unless and until the employees are satisfied, they cannot give the best output, the best effort. See, every organization has some mission. Now every organization has some vision. Okay, there's a program, there are some educational objectives, there are some outcome. So why, what is that, why are you working for an organization? To, you have a target, to reach the target, a goal is being set, you have to achieve the goal. So we all run for to achieve that goal. But at the same time, if we are not properly compensated, whether in terms of facilities or whether it is in terms of monetary values, then at the end of the day you become a very unsatisfied. Because I'm so much, I mean, I have knowledge, I'm quite experienced, but still then, so you cannot give your best output, your effort has to be given. So this is, that is why there are some organizations like the Taj and all. I'm talking about the hospitality industry. Everybody wants to work for the Taj group of hotels. Taj has not only in the, they have, they are known not only in the hospitality sectors, but they have their own products. They have hotel industry. They have consumable goods. Then they have the airlines. So you name and it is there. Even the medical facilities are there. So there are lot many things. Okay, and everybody wants to work for the Taj Group because there are a lot of benefits that is being associated. That is what sometimes, your sometimes you might be thinking that, the salary is peanuts, very less, but the benefits, the advantages that is being given by the organizations, everybody want to work for the organization. So whatever methods that is being utilized by any organization, it should ensure that they receive the satisfaction of the employees, I mean the managing the employees, and also ensure the supply of right skills to the organization. For right skills is very much necessary for carrying out its operations efficiently and effectively. Okay, so that was the end of this unit 8, that is job evaluation methods. I'll move to the next one, that is task analysis. Okay, one thing, one minute. So moving to the next unit, that is task analysis. Okay. So this is unit 9, and this comprises I mean this consists of this will be task analysis. So okay, 1 minute. Okay, so let's move so, going through this unit, you will be learning about, you should be able to understand what is the importance of task analysis. And it is a task analysis is a potential human resource development tool, and do task analysis of key jobs, and use task analysis for improving performance of individual employees, as well as the as well as the corporates or the organizations. And basically, job is a broad term, as job constitutes many tasks, that is the thing, you are being assigned a designation, you have some responsibilities. So responsibilities means you have lot of tasks. So basically, job is a broad term. When we talk about job, it includes lot of tasks taken together. So that is what is job is all. Lot of tasks taken together constitutes a job. Now, the job analysis process is becoming more and more difficult with the changes and complex nature of modern day jobs. So sometimes, you have to be very multi-skilled to handle so many jobs. Now, for example, some of y'all might be the bread owner of the family, earning somewhere. At the same time, you're also a learner of igno, attending classes and all. So you know how you handle your jobs. At one point you attend the classes in the morning, 8 to 10 or 10 to 12, and then again you have an working for an industry, or working for a organization, or a travel agent company, or a hotel, where you do the evening shift from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. So at home, as a student, you have some specific responsibilities, attending the classes, making notes, getting yourself prepared for the exam. Similarly, when you are at home, you have to take care of other, some responsibilities, like keeping your things updated, making paying the bills of different, electrical bills, water bills, house rent, and whatever, so on. At the same time, when you go, that is your responsibility at your home. Secondly, now third is when you go to the office, when your organization, you have some other job responsibilities. You're working as a supervisor, so you have to monitor a lot of activities. You have to ensure the staff, employees who are working under you, they perform their work properly. You have to monitor them. So different jobs. So there are different tasks. Basically, these are all tasks which constitute a job. So the job is basically a broad term, as a job constitutes many tasks. Now, the job analysis process is becoming more and difficult nowadays, because with the changes and complex nature of modern day jobs. Though job analysis is popular in consideration for HR planning, more and more organizations are opting for task analysis to find ways of delineating tasks, performance appraisal, as well as employee motivation. Hence, they are using task analysis for HRD. Now, this the traditional approach to task analysis is characterized by two models. One is the British model, and the other is the American model. What about the British model? This British model has emphasized analysis in terms of specific activities, and the job holder is responsible, whereas the American model has included an emphasis on the competences needed for that job. There are two models, one is the British and the other is the American model. What does the British model? He's held, there are specific, it has emphasized analysis in terms of the specific activities, okay, for which the job holder is held responsible. Whereas the American model, they emphasize on the competences needed for that job. With both models, the analysis is usually carried out by the management with the help of the experts. Now, these two models are quite similar in many respects, and both have been found to be very useful in analyzing both skilled work as well as semi-skilled work. Now, obviously, it's becoming very obvious that the traditional approach to task analysis is not suitable for the increasing complex reality of organization work. You have to balance. Sometimes you are a multitasker. This is you are a multitasker. So you handle the HR department, you handle the training. You also sometimes, if required, you have to also. But usually HR is always separate. But sometimes what happens, especially I'll give you an example. Uh, especially the you can say the F&B manager, in the absence of the food and beverage manager, in absence of the when the general manager, he acts as the general manager of the hotel. So now he have to multitask. He has to ensure that his department, that is food and beverage department, runs smoothly and efficiently. On the other side, he has to also ensure that uh, you have to when he is the general manager of the hotel, when he is in charge, general manager in charge, then he has to ensure not only his department but the other department that constitutes the hotel. That's right from the front office department, that is the operational department, the front office department, the housekeeping department, the food and beverage department, plus the other ancillary departments like the accounts department, the maintenance department, the you have this purchase department, sales and marketing department. That should also ensure that it should run smoothly. So you have to be very multi-skilled, in handling all this. Okay. So depending, and what happened nowadays, many organizations, what happened, they are cutting short on staff. So what happens, employee has to take responsibility of both the departments. I mean, it happens in each and every organization. I'm giving you another instance, another example. What happens, especially in hotels, when there are events and all, conferences and all, events or seminars, conferences, hotel, maybe the hotel doesn't have that much staff. So what they do, they usually, with the help of the assistance of these interns means trainees who are doing training, they get all the work done. Now, if an employee was there, obviously, if you keep an employee, if you keep an staff, then he will get all the benefits of an employee. Whereas just a trainee, he'll be only paid a very, you can say, very negligible amount. What the staff or employee gets so much benefit. If you are a employee of an organization, you not only get your salary, but beside that, you are also entitled to many other benefits. Okay, but if you are a trainee, you are not being given a salary. You are given a minimum amount, which is known as a stipend. Okay, which is known as stipend. So that is very nominal. You can say in Indian rupees like 4,000, 5,000. Whereas the trainees work as much as the any other staff in the hotel, like they are working 10 to 12 hours, they're giving 10 to 12 hours. So nowadays, it's happening like this. They wanted to cut short of the staff employees because they have to give all the benefits, salaries. And so what happened, they call all these trainees, or they sometimes um, they call hire them for a day or two, depending on the functions of the requirements of the hotels, and pay them a nominal minimum amount for a day or two. Like it's like day wages, like something. I mean, day wages. It's like this. So, so basically, it is becoming obvious, however, that the traditional approach to task analysis is not suitable for the increasing complex reality of organizational work. Managing jobs are more complex than those previously subjected to analysis. And jobs in public systems that are characterized by complex responsibilities and group or team tasks, which are increasingly emerging as a way of organizing work in task analysis industries. What is needed in order to address the more complex jobs that characterize today's organization is a different approach to task analysis. Now, task analysis is, as I have already mentioned, that task analysis is an important tool in the HR department for any organization for various reasons. It includes job designing, it includes recruitment and selection, it includes training and development, and there's also the performance management. Then you have compensation and rewards. Then you have, so you can say overall task analysis plays a very crucial role. Now, coming to this, job design, basically the task analysis helps the HR professionals, HR professionals to understand the specific task. 1 minute, huh? सर कौन को वही फ्रंट ऑफिस लैब में हाँ ଠିକ ଅଛି କରିଦେବି ମୁଁ ଆର ମୁଁ ହଁ ହଁ ସେ ଇଏ ହଁ ବୁଝିଲି ଠିକ ଅଛି ଠିକ ଅଛି ଓକେ ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ ସାର୍ ମୁଁ ସେ କ୍ଲାସଟାରେ ଅଛି ଓକେ sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, 1 minute. Mm. Yes, I was talking about the job design. So when we talk about job design, so task analysis basically helps the HR professionals to understand the specific task and responsibilities that have been associated with each job. And this information is very crucial for designing the jobs that are very clear and has a meaningful value, and they also should match with the organizational goals and objectives. So that is job design. Now coming to the second is the recruitment and selection. So task analysis also helps the HR professionals to identify the key skills and the knowledge and abilities required for each job. And this information basically, whenever for recruitment and selection process, that also, the HR selects them depending on their skills, experience, knowledge. And this information is basically very much necessary to develop job descriptions and job specifications, which are then used for recruiting and selecting candidates who possess the necessary qualifications. Then comes the training and development. As I told you this, I told you about the HR department, human resource department. Then there is the training department also. Now hotels, they have the HR departments which takes care of the employee staff, the salary packages, the benefits that is being taken by care by the HR department. And on the other side, you have the training department, training and development department. And especially even tourism professionals, they shift to this training and development because they prepare different types of modules. The way they teach, the way they explain, it is not only your values, or I mean, it is not only your job responsibility doesn't only includes the skill. It also requires how you dress, how you talk, how you present. So all these are required. So all these are being included. They make a package, and these are being included in the training and development module. I told you, it's very important. It is not only training doesn't mean that only giving inputs on the job, I mean, related to the job. It also tells how to dress yourself, how to present yourself, how to speak, your body gestures, communication skills. Even, even in many organizations, there are you have this communication skills professionals. They teach you how to talk. Now it is mandatory, all the colleges, when you I mean, communication is very important. Okay, so training, so I mean, in this training all these are imparted: how you communicate, how you talk to, how you interact with people, what should be your body language, how should you dress, your dressing sense, and all this. So training and development task analysis helps the HR professionals identify the specific training needs of the employees by breaking down job tasks and identifying the skills and knowledge required for each task, the HR can design training programs that address the specific needs and help the employees to improve their job performance. Then comes the performance management also. It is also being included in the task analysis. Yes. So task analysis, performance management. The task analysis, provides a basis for setting performance standards, how you are performing in an organization, and as per that, your an employee is being evaluated, and depending on that, he is being given promotion, hike in pay scale, and all. So understanding the task and responsibilities associated with each job, the HR can develop objective criteria for assessing employee performance and also giving the feedback. Feedback is also very important. Then comes the compensation and rewards. So task analysis also helps the HR professionals to determine the relative value or worth of different jobs within the organization. And by analyzing the complexity, responsibility, the skill requirements of each job, the HR always can establish a fair and consistent basis for determining the salary levels and other rewards. So, organizations give you the best employee of the week or best employee of the month, especially the hotels, restaurants. You'll find all these different small food outlets, like the Pizza Hut, then CCD, the Cafe Coffee Day, then you have the Domino's, you have the Starbucks, then you have McDonald's, and then you have the KFC. They'll be having, these are food outlets where you'll be having, the staff who are working there, they are putting a batch, and it's like employee of the month, or in hotels you'll finding the employee of the month. So these types of rewards are being given, increment in salary is being given. So what it also helps, it motivates the employees. As I told you in a previous slide, whatever you do, you should ensure that it satisfies the employees, because if the employees are satisfied, they will give their best efforts. Otherwise, and only with the best efforts, the organization can reach its goal. So these are very compensation and rewards are very important. So task analysis helps the HR professionals determine the value or worth, relative value or worth of different jobs within the organization. And by analyzing the complexity, responsibility, and skill requirements of each job, the HR can establish a fair and consistent basis for determining the salary levels and other rewards. So you can see overall the task analysis plays a very important role, plays a very crucial role in various HR functions, ensuring that the jobs are well designed, the employees do have the necessary skills, do have the necessary skills, competent enough, knowledge, performance wise, everything is being effectively managed, and the compensation is fair and equitable. Okay. So basically, I have told you about the uses of task analysis, selection and placement, better recruitment. There are also, depending on different, you should have the leader skills, you should have the leadership skills, you should have some innovative ideas. So all this, depending on this, you are being given a better position, and all this. Okay. Then you have to work your plan, and especially task analysis also includes work planning, and that includes the following, that is setting individuals tasks for a specific period, now minimizing overlap between jobs, and then identifying the neglected task in a work unit, then delegating the work, that is very important. You have a job, you need to delegate the work, that is very important. Planning, delegation, and also the job enrichment. You have to enrich the ensure that you enjoy the job, and so that everybody has that enthusiasm. Doing the job repetitively, you may not like it. So sometimes what happens, you are being there are various departments. So sometimes, especially in the hotel, suppose you work in the particular department, food and beverage department. So sometimes you may be in charge of the restaurant, sometimes you may be in charge of the food outlet, sometimes you may be in charge of the bar, sometimes you are also in charge of the banquet hall. So different, so that you also get a different skill to handle situations, handle guests, and also learn many things. So that also helps in job enrichment. Okay, so whatever, whenever any I mean, delegation in his job is very important. Okay, that is how the work should be divided and properly, distributed among the staff or the employees, so that the job can be done with. Now, performance appraisal, including it also includes the performance appraisal. I have told, like negotiated tasks and activities to be performed, evaluation by self as well as the supervisor of the quality or quantity standards of task performance. Both process and outcomes need to be very effective, and analysis of factors helping and hindering task performance. You have to ensure that there are maybe some issues coming up, so you have to ensure that it doesn't hamper. Okay, the performance is not being hampered. You have obviously all these are being discussed, potential appraisal, so including a preparation of a system on the basis of the competency analysis, potential appraisal work, then employee development. You need you sometimes for you have a self appraisal form, like the staff, the employees are being given the self appraisal form. So in self appraisal form, suppose it's a teaching, if you're a faculty, how you teach, are you satisfied with your teaching modes or skills, do you give presentations, do you give examples, do you only give theory classes, or along with that practical classes. You have to self appraise, you have to give your own evaluation, how you evaluate yourself. So out of 10 you give 8 marks, so you are happy. Then that is also being then feedback forms are given to the students. They give their feedback about the faculties, how they teach, their way of teaching, their way of teaching, their skills, knowledge, theory classes, practical classes, it is being taken properly or not, with examples and all. With new, it is not only, sometimes so many new things are coming up, so it is only not within the books that you should learn. There are outside knowledge, it is not within the box. Okay, you should know outside the world. So you should always give the students to think about, so that you can use your brains. That is what is very important. I make you teach, okay, you learn, and no, that not only helps. You have to think outside the box also. So once you try to analyze things, it becomes very easier for. So depending on that, this appraisals are being given for the employees. Now, employee development, for the employee development, training is being given, counseling sessions are being taken. Training is very important nowadays, it has become very mandatory. So all the organizations, it is not only the tourism and hospitality organizations, but it is also for the insurance companies, the medical companies, the engineering companies. Different products are launched, how to operate them, what are the not only about the sales, they should also be knowing about the service. So depending on that, different training modules are being set, and the employees or staffs related to that work are being given proper training. In team building, which is very necessary, so that why team building is very necessary, because so that you have a better understanding of each other. Then that is what, there's always a saying, because you should have a very efficient team. It is, I cannot just run an organization as a whole. I need the help of my subordinates. I need the assistance of my supervisors. I need the assistance of my managers. So everybody, the team building is very important. So team building is very important, especially but better understanding of each other, locating areas of task conflicts and dealing with them, and building linkages and mutuality between jobs. So on the basis of the guidelines stated above, we can see that task analysis involves the following steps. That is the contextual analysis. This is very important. Task analysis involves the following steps. That is contextual analysis, activity analysis, task delineation, competency analysis, performance analysis, and discrepancy analysis. So contextual analysis is basically, it is essential to know the mission, orientation, and goals of the organization of which the job is a part. And for example, every organization has a vision, every organization has a mission. For example, the mission of a hotel may be defined. What is the mission of the hotel? To provide effective hospitality services and supporting services, related support to the guests wishing to use the hotel. And the term, this term related support, that may be an important dimension of the mission of the hotel. That would be a dimension of the mission of the hotel, and it related support. Okay, and this related support can be in terms of travel desk, providing special services and all. And it may imply that the jobs of the managers and other staffers also need to include psychological support as a task. It is not only physical support, but it is also needs to be a psychological support. So if task analysis were undertaken in this situation without the development of this understanding, the observers may not see activities involving psychological support. So what is activity analysis? It is observable, it is descriptive, and it is objective. So when we think of observable, planning is not regarded as an activity because it cannot be observed, whereas serving a guest is an observable activity. See, what I am planning, you don't know, okay? But yes, how I serve the guest, that you can see, that you can observe. So that is observable. Descriptive, the behavior concerned must be capable of being stated specifically in terms that describe rather than evaluate or interpret. So, for example, if a behavior on part of a nurse, is recorded as taking a patient's temperature, this behavior qualifies an activity. She's taking the temperature, she's measuring the temperature with the thermometer. So that is an activity. But however, if the same behavior were recorded as doing diagnosis, this phrase would be an interpretation of what had occurred and would not qualify as an activity. If you say she has been diagnosed with this disease or something, so that's not an activity. Okay, that's, you have to descriptive and all. So that is how it is. The phrase has to be used. It is an objective. An activity, when observed by more than one person, should be capable of being recorded in written form in the same way uh, by all observers. So you have to very record all the activities and all those has to be mentioned. So that is the reason why it is known as activity analysis. Task delineation. What is task delineation? Task delineation involves subjective decision making and should be undertaken only by people who know and understands the jobs. So see, there is no set rule regarding the number of tasks to be delineated. However, they should not be so few that one can review them and form a clear picture of a job. Similarly, there should not be so many that the differences among activities are not readily apparent and that their numbers become cumbersome for performance appraisal and other purposes. See, your job should not include just two activities, neither you should include two activities, nor should it include 20 activities. So that is what it is being said. So it should be balanced. So the task should be balanced in terms of the number of activities each comprises. So if one task has too many activities, it needs to be divided into further two or more tasks. Okay, so that is what is see, you being a tool leader, sometimes one, if it's a one person's, so one person's job. It is not like that. Suppose if you have a if you run a travel agent, you have someone who is designing the packages, and someone who is doing all the blogging, who is designing your website, and there is someone who is taking care of the operation sites, taking booking, taking care of the payments and all, and the other one who is going through the group to show the places and all. So there are different people, but different job is being distributed. So that has to be in a proper way. I mean, it should not be in that manner. You have been assigned also to do the job developing the website of your travel agent company. At the same time, you are also being given you have been given assigned the role of taking the payments from the clients, tourists. So this, I mean, it should be differentiated. Okay, so that if each job is being properly assigned and aligned, then you can have your more, you can I mean, you can give your more effort into that particular job and make it error free. That is what is very important. Okay, So instant handling, like tours activities I was telling, instead handling tours should be broken into special skills such as tour costing, tour activities such as getting the reconfirmation of hotel booking, then customer support. These are all like divided. So after the task have been delineated, it is a good idea to rate the importance of each to the job and to assess the percentage of time spent by the job incumbent on each. Now competency analysis, 1 minute. Competency analysis, a job incumbent needs different types and levels of competencies in order to perform job tasks well. Now, competency analysis helps in identifying the competencies that are necessary for the tasks that have been delineated. Now, competencies can be divided into five main types. One is the knowledge, another is the skills, then comes the abilities, then this is the orientation and the experience. Again, I am repeating, competences can be divided into five main types, that is knowledge, another is skills, abilities, orientation and experience. And of these five types, orientation may require some explanation. Now, orientation is basically what happens when you join a new organization, then you are being you have to go through all the departments of the company, how your company works, what is the hierarchy level, what is the salary structure, what are the benefits you will be getting. So you are being oriented, you are being sensitized about all the, you can say, all the informations and all those things. So orientation is basically a general attitude reflecting the values of a job holder. For example, in the case of a front office assistant, that is the hotel, respect for the guest may be deemed to be as an important orientation. Following, so that is how. I mean, first when you join, you don't know where to go. Suppose there is a accounts department, there is a HR department, there is a catering, restaurant attached to the hotel. So you are first being given, all these orientation programs, so that each department you stay there for 2 or 3 days and come to know how the department runs. I mean, it's an overview, not in depth, but an overview. Then you go to your department and you be the front office assistant or front office executive and do your job. Okay. And then comes the performance analysis. The main purpose of performance analysis is to evaluate the impact of a job, how effective it is being done or has been done. And these steps consist of assessing how well the job incumbent has performed the task for which he or she is responsible. And data may be gathered indicating both kinds of effectiveness. Okay. Then comes discrepancy analysis. The word discrepancy, the word itself implies, when you do not agree, there is some error, you can say. So discrepancy analysis is that identification of any discrepancies that become obvious as a result of the previous steps. So there are some gaps, and discrepancies may exist between activities reported by the job incumbent and those reported by the role set numbers, between activities reported and those observed or expected, between the importance of a task and the time spent completing it, between needed competencies and existing competencies, and so on. So these gaps may indicate a need for certain remedial measures, such as redefining the role, then proper training, then additional work planning, delegating, increased monitoring, as well as counseling. And trained observers may observe the job incumbent for a few days, and discrepancies between desired activities or tasks and actual performance may be noted and acted accordingly. So summary. So in this unit, you have read about task analysis. What are the proposed guidelines for successful task analysis? What are the there are various involved different steps: contextual analysis, performance analysis, discrepancies analysis. You should be aware of all this. And task analysis can also be used as a supervisory tool to improve the functioning of the employees. So there are training modules which can be designed keeping the various tasks in mind. So you have to design the training modules as per the requirement, okay, of the organizations, and those training should be imparted to the staff as and when required. So performance of the employees can be better monitored, and also work planning can be done keeping in mind the various tasks to be completed. So this is all about this unit, that is unit 9. that is task analysis. Within another, this is the last one. I'll just go through 1 minute. One sec, I'll move to the other slide. Okay. So, uh, so this is the unit 10, and unit 10 is personal office functions and operations. See, I'll give you a small example. See, uh, I mean, this is a very relevant to the way the study materials that is being prepared by IGNO. Now, I just wanted to show you, I have a book, that is human resource management. That is, and in that book is all about text and cases are there. In that book, there are several chapters are there. So, about task analysis, about job evaluation, about training, about planning, about monitoring, about supervising, about coordinating. So, different chapters are there, around 12 chapters. Okay. But so whenever I need to, wherever I go, I have to carry that book along with me because it involves all the chapters. So if I wanted to know about the wage and salary, if I wanted to know about the job evaluation, I have to go. But IGNO has made the study materials in such a manner, unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, there are two blocks. Okay, so in one block there are 10 chapters, in another block, in one block there are 12 chapters, in another block there are another 12 chapters. And not only that, it is not a chapter wise, there is a unit is a single book, so it is very easy. Suppose it is very easy to carry. Now suppose if you are going for a vacation, and you need not carry that heavy book I am having, human resource management book. You can just carry a particular unit that is of 7 or that is of around 25 pages, personal office functions and operation. So everything has been made so well designed, that is what the importance characteristics of IGNO, so you can slowly, the study materials are made in such a manner so it is very easy to understand. Now, why I gave you an example of this, because similarly, job responsibility, the same thing, if I give you a whole lot work to do, you complete this cleaning, you take care of the house, you take care of the cleaning of the room. So, you will just think, oh my God, from where should I start? Some fans may not be working, lights may not be working, AC is not working, you have to hang a picture, the TV is not working. So, alone you cannot do the work. You have to get a plumber, you have to get an electrician, you have to get carpenter to get the things done. Because why? Because each person has a job specification attached to it. So similarly, in an organization also, it is not only the administration people will do the work. There are administration people, there are administrative professionals, there are HR professionals, there are accountants, there are you have who are looking after the sales and marketing. There are now also a department who is taking care of your designing the website. So social media handles are there. Earlier, organizations did not have this social media handles department, but now the organization also have a social media handle. In my university, there's a department which takes care of all this. Newspapers, all this. There's I mean, all this. Uh, you can say the events that is taking place in the events associated with our organization taking places in different places, those are being highlighted in television, newspapers. So there is a department, separate department who takes care of the social media. So nowadays all the work is being divided in such a way so that the organization can run very smoothly and in an efficient way. Okay. So after reading this unit, you should be able to explain the concept of what is personal management, describe the key characteristics of personal management, then identify the objectives of personal management, and list what are the various factors of personal management, learn how a personal office is organized, and understand the various roles of a personal manager and the skills required to be successful personal manager, and appreciate the necessity of personal department in an organization. Now, what do you, when you talk about the, as I was telling you about the personal management, what do you mean by personal management? Earlier, one second. Earlier, hotels, they usually, I mean, not on hotels, I'm telling, in any organizations, and still they have a single department like personal department. But now it has been like, that is also known as HR department, plus they have made another department which is known as the training and development. Okay, so that organization will take care of the training. So that is what happens. Okay. Uh, so, 1 minute, huh? 1 minute. Hmm. So, now what is the personal department? So, an organization is formed obviously for the fulfillment of certain objectives. That is, you have to fulfill the goal, the objective of the organization. So, earning a desired rate of profit on investment, that is return on investment. Whenever you invest this much amount for an organization, obviously you would look for the profit. Okay, but yes, at the same time you have to have a workforce which is efficient workforce, you can say robust workforce. Okay, but at the same time you should not exploit the resources and exploit the resources, and you should develop the geographical area supplying some products, goods and services for the betterment of the society, for the betterment of the environment. Then usually machines, materials, then money, natural resources, etc., they are basically the tools which are required to achieve the organizational goals. So, but these tools are operated by persons at different levels with different skills. Okay. Now, I am teaching you all. My basically role over here is to give you. You already have the study materials, but still then I have to tell you what the study material contains. I give you some examples from the industry, tourism and hospitality industry, so that you have an understand, you can have a better clear picture. Okay, with my knowledge, with my experience, I try to make you understand. Now, on the other side, you also do have to learn all this. Then you have to sit for the exams and all. So there is a department which evaluates your answer scripts. Then there is a department which takes care of your, the accounts department, that the fees are being properly paid. You have paid the semester fees. Then there is another department, the administration department, which takes care of, ensures that you have cleared all the papers, how much your mark sheet, different. Like I am taking I am taking tourism and environment. So another faculty might be taking about tourism and marketing. So different faculties, they will just evaluate your papers and they'll send it to IGNOU. The IGNOU will comprise all those get together you with your name, enrollment number, with your semesters and all. They will reflect all those marks on the dashboard and all. So you can put your enrollment number and can see all. So each individual has different. So these tools are operated by different persons at different levels with different skills. So thus a proper selection. Yes, thus the proper selection of personnel, that is the staff, is very much required for the tactful handling and proper management. which is very essential for the success of any organization. And especially in the case of hospitality and tourism industry, this is not just essential, but it is also the key success because of the very nature of the services or product. Because we are in a customer oriented industry. The tourism and hospitality industry is a customer oriented industry. It is a skill industry, it is a customer oriented. So you have to ensure that your customers are satisfied. To make the customer satisfied, you should have a proper skill, whether it's how you communicate or how you there is a saying like uh, you can always tell a guest how the hotel is all about, but you cannot make him feel how the hotel was. How will you make him feel? You can make him feel only through the services that has been rendered to the guest while he was there in the hotel. You cannot, I can tell you, if you tell me, I'm showing you the picture, yeah, I'm showing you the photos and all. For example, I'm showing you the videos and all, okay? You are liking, oh, that's really nice. But you have to visit that place, how the service was given to you. That is a different opinion. You cannot measure that. You have to come, yes, I can tell you, I can show you, see, this is the product I have purchased. But if you want to visit a hotel, if you want to visit a destination, you have to go there and you have to feel that experience. That experience you can only show in pictures, but you cannot, I mean, the feelings you got, you cannot show it to anybody. You can explain your thoughts and ideas. So it requires a very efficient, skilled personnel for this industry. So, our characteristics and objectives of personnel office. This is the unit is all about. So, functions and operations, personal management. So, personal management is known by various names over different periods of time, and these are personal administration. These are also known as personal in suppose labor management. In industries such as this industries and all. Then over there, the personal manager is known as that department is known as labor management department. Like coal mines, industries which are working with oils or gas or coals, and especially those mining sectors and all. They have this labor management officer and all. That is the personal manager. Then you have industrial relations, industries, then employee relations, manpower management, etc. So different, same the objective and the goal, or I mean the work culture, I mean the work definition, job description is the same, but known by different names. Okay, so irrespective of the size of the organization, these functions exist in every firm, and hospitality establishment are no exception. Okay, now the manager who performs these functions is also likewise called by various names like personal manager, employees relation manager, then industrial relation manager, uh, labor officer, labor welfare officer, personal officer, employee relations officer, and industrial relations officer. So these are the following basic facts that characteristics of personal management, which can be summed up as: it is concerned with the employees, it covers all levels of personnel, it is inherent in all organizations, it is of a continuous nature, and it attempts at getting the willing cooperation of the people for the attainment of the desired goals. Now, the personal department, as I say, I mean, this is I'm a human resource department, and it is of significant importance within an organization for various reasons. So the objectives of personal management is basically to achieve an effective utilization of human resources for the achievement of the organizational goals. So what is the main objective of a personal manager? You have the human resources, the workforce. You have the workforce. So you should have a robust workforce which can get your work done in a very efficient manner. That is what is important. Why? To achieve the organizational goal. To establish and maintain an adequate organizational structure and a desirable working relationship among the members of the organization. So each task is being divided into different departments, different organizational head, then supervisors, then everyone. The work is being divided. Then everybody has a different position, everybody has a different function, and the job is being defined, and they have to perform as per the limited time period as per the target time period, so that for which they are responsible, they are accountable, their authority of their job. That is what is a personal manager's uh, objective is to make. So he has to ensure that whole organization works in a proper way to achieve the goal. So what he has to do, he has to identify the personnel, whom to select, whom to give the training, who has to be given what position, and then comes the salary structure. So that is one important. To secure the integration of the individuals and groups with the organization, by reconciling individual or group goals with those of an organization in such a manner that the employees feel a sense of involvement, commitment, and loyalty to it. This is very, very important. When you are working with an organization, you should be loyal, you should be committed, your involvement is very important for that organization. So you should be committed to that organization, you should be loyal to your organization, and you should be, your involvement plays a major role. See, you may be attached to the organization for 2 years, and for example, but you should be loyal because you are getting a better opportunity, you can switch it, you can switch over to another job. But yes, as long as you are with this organization, it is very important commitment, loyalty, involvement. And who should identify this? The HR manager should select those candidates where he finds all these qualities in them. uh, to so generate maximum development of individuals or groups within an organization by providing opportunities for advancement to the employees through proper training has to be given, education offering. Then also, some organizations, they can transfer their staff to different locations, like that. Suppose an organization, they has offices in different parts of the country, not in India but globally, depending on their performance, achievement, and all, they are being relocated to different places, so they are being transferred and providing the, you have to retaining facilities, that you should be involved with the organization. So the, it is being a personal manager, you should also try to keep your employees happy, you should try to retain the employees. That is very important, to recognize and satisfy individual needs as well as the group goals by offering an adequate and equitable remuneration. You have to be well remunerated. Social and economic security has to be there in the form of monetary compensation and protection against hazards of life, whether you are, suppose you have this medical benefits and all, now or employees are working for different organizations, they are given lot of insurance by the companies, where the company pays the insurance companies for them. Even if you work in the hotel or hospitality on industry, you are getting a health insurance or medical facility. So these should be given, because you are also hazards of, you are playing, suppose those, especially those who are working in the kitchen department, they are cooking food, and also, they are, I mean, they're always, I mean, there are fire systems and all, so they have to be very careful about all this. So the company should be taking care of all those. Okay, so to maintain, and the very important is to maintain high moral and better human relations inside an organization by sustaining, by resource sustaining and improving the conditions, so that employees may stick to their jobs for a longer period. And other personal functions are generally divided into two categories, that is the managerial and operational. In fact, these two levels at which each function is to be performed, and each function is a part of a management plan and has to be given practical shape at the operation level, classified under the broad functions of management. These are very important functions of management. When we talk about management, one is planning, another is organizing, another is staffing, motivating, and controlling. You can say these are all being ruled by the personal department. So it also gives objectives in relation to each, what may be called managerial functions. These are basically the managerial functions. Okay, then there are the operational functions, like, what is the activity to be performed. You are working in the food production department, you are in the F&B department, so those are operation. But the HR department, they does the planning, they do the organizing, staffing, motivating, and controlling. Okay, function like planning manpower requirement, function anticipating vacancies, they find out when vacancies arise. Then there are retirements, obviously, whenever retirement, superannuation takes place or any resignation. So there are vacancies being developed. So those has to be filled up. Then those who are getting future promotions, then future transfers. Then obviously they have to estimate future vacancies from the above causes and estimating additional future positions. Then recruitment, preparing whenever you recruit, what are the positions you wanted to recruit for, what is the job analysis, preparing the job specifications, then analyzing the sources of potential employees, then how to attract the employees if you're working in a different organization and another organization wants you. So how they would attract you? Obviously, through your pay structure only and giving you benefits, then only they can attract and you'll be attracted and you'll shift from one organization to another organization. So organizing the manpower resources, that is also very important. Organization, analyzing the organizational structure, then forecasting what manpower requirements, how much, what is the requirement of the workforce. Then sometimes you need to find there are some organizational changes has to be there, so you recommend organizational changes. Then you analyze key position requirements. Then selection process, how that is being done, to prepare questionnaires, then weeding out undesirables through analysis of questionnaires. Then you have to interview the applicants. There are written processes, the interview processes, and this interview process, if you wanted to work for a good organization, if it's a government organization, then you have to sit, the interview committee includes usually 7 to 8 experts, each of, so they will ask about your knowledge, about your experience. Sometimes they would tell you, you give a demo about, how would you teach the students. So I'm giving, suppose for the position of faculty, sometimes if they say, if you want to be in the marketing, if you want to a marketing professional, how would you design the website, how would you handle the social media. So they it's not only they see your communication skills, but at the same time your how you use your knowledge, your application level, that is very important. Your communication skills, your convincing skills, your application, your source of, you should have your potential, you should have a good sense of humor at the same time. That is also very important. With different levels, I'm just giving you an example of if you want to be in the marketing. Okay, so these are few, you have to evaluate the applications and then make the final selection based on various criteria. And there are different factors. I told you those factors: your skills, your experience, your knowledge, your ability, that all depends on. Okay. There are classification of employees also. Objective to assign officially each employee an appropriate position, clearly defined with the responsibilities, preparing the job descriptions, assigning proper, you can say title to each position, reviewing periodically the correctness of job descriptions. Okay, so these are now last. There comes the staffing and comes the motivation. It is very important that how you do the staffing process, how you do the motivation, how you motivate your employees. That is also very much necessary. So staffing and motivating is also very important, because unless and until you motivate your employees, you cannot, you cannot retain those employees. If it's a government organization, once you are in the government organization, you are sure, it is fine enough. I'll get promotion, I'll get increment in. I mean, this slowly, steadily, I mean, it will go. But if you are with a private organization, you have to switch to different organizations depending on when you have acquired, different certificates, different, you have got achieved rewards, certificates, then you thought you can be suitable for a better position. Then you have to apply for a different position at a different level with a different organization. Okay, so it varies. This is how, and that is what the personal department has to ensure, that they do proper selection of staffing. Not only proper selection of staffing, that is proper the workforce, but also they have to retain the workforce. That is what is very important as a part of the personal department. Okay, so one thing, another thing is that, Like I would say that is employee relations. The personal department also plays a very crucial role in the maintaining a very positive employee relation within the organization. So they handle, yes, another thing is I just forgot, that is handling grievances, so they handle employee grievances, then mediate conflicts. There are conflicts arising, so you have to mediate conflicts and promote a healthy working environment. See, whenever you work for an organization, you spend 9 to 10 hours over there, one third of your one third, no, half of your, 24 hours in a day. So you spend at least 10 hours. So you can say, mm, half of your day, you can say, yeah, half of your day, 10 hours you spend. You have another 12 hours left. So another 14 hours left. 10 hours. So you spend more than half hour, spend half day of the 24 hours. So obviously you have to have a very perfect environment, which is very, so it should be a healthy environment that you should maintain that. Okay. So they handle employee grievances, mediate conflicts, as well as promote a healthy work environment. And especially they need to address the employee concerns. There are different employees have different issues, so they have to address all those employee concerns, and has to have fostered a very positive work culture. Okay, work culture is very important. Then the personal department helps to improve employee satisfaction and retention. Some companies, especially the IT industries, they are spending so long hours, and so they're working. Then in between they get a break. They go to the restroom. They can go to they have a coffee shop attached to their office. They can go and sip a cup of coffee or tea. Then if they feel like, there is also some play, some, like they can play billboards or something, like small playroom type, and they can do some little bit of exercises, because sitting at one place, that is, ergonomics, how you sit, your postures and all. If you sit for a long time, for if you sit in a one position for a long time, it also has a negative impact on your health. So they can go around, do some exercises. They have that type of exercise, a gym room, they have a gym room, they have a restaurant. And that restaurant is not only, because some employees are vegetarian, some are non-vegetarian, and some employees may have a diet, they may be on diet. So restaurants are also providing those type of foods as per the needs of the staff. So this is what a personal manager has to look into, all the aspects of the employees of the organization, to make them satisfied. That is what is very important. So before I close this, before I conclude, I would like to show you, um, you know, a small case study on video. Just a minute, huh? I'll just show you that video. One second. I will show you that video. Hmm. This is a case study, the new human resource manager. Okay, it's about 5 minutes video. You just see the video, you'll enjoy, you'll understand how the human resource manager works. Just a case study.
A garment factory named the Prime Manufacturing Company employs about 1,250 employees of varied skills. It is composed of two teams known as the Production Department and the Maintenance Department. 75% women are in the Production Department and are assigned for sewing, packaging, and quality control. And the Maintenance Department is composed of 25% men of all employees, which are assigned to be the machine operators. Due to the huge amount of employees under the production department, the Prime Manufacturing Company thought that they needed to be supervised, so they decided to hire a human resource manager to lead the department. After Rod Santos saw the hiring ad, he immediately called the company and applied in the office. They asked for his job qualifications before hiring him. After that, he was immediately hired for the job. General manager told him his job descriptions like leading the human resource department, preparing the employee's payroll, and managing the employee records. His department is composed of 5 employees, a payroll clerk, a personnel assistant, 2 supervisors, and him, Rod Santos.
After a 3-month span of Rod Santos' employment.
After 3 months of being the HR manager, a sudden problem occurred and brought to Rod Santos' attention by Mario Mabalangan, the general manager. 20% of women employees and 12% of male employees resigned due to unspecified reasons, yet there was no exit interview conducted for them. After Mr. Santos and Mr. Mabalangan had a talk, Mr. Mabalangan thinks of the possible reasons why a massive resignation happened. An idea made to his mind due to the complaints of his subordinates, which make the possible reasons of the problem. First is the different profession from being in the field of engineering to being an HR manager. Second is Mr. Rod Santos' incompetence, which made him show lack of interest in his employment. And third is lost control as the HR manager.
So the company decided to conduct a case research regarding the problem.
The case seeks to identify and examine various viewpoints of the problem in the prime manufacturing factory employee's resignation. It is classified into must and wants. Must/short-term objectives. 1. To narrow down the particular problem that emerged within the company. 2. To settle the problem within the HR department before the problem gets worse. 3. To recognize every factor that led to the mass resignation of the prime manufacturing company employees within those 3 months. 4. To find solutions that will assist in improving employees' performance and retaining the company's quality service. 5. To alleviate the negative influence caused by Mr. Rod Santos' efficiency in their department. 6. To provide some suggestions to Mr. Santos and the future human resource manager to strengthen management capabilities. 7. To enhance the production flow to meet customers' demands. 1/long-term objectives. 1. To hire someone versatile enough to work in a new field. 2. To provide adequate training to each new employee, especially when it's their first time working in such a department. 3. To develop and promote ethical policies and behaviors within and outside the company. 4. To establish and sustain a work-life balance that makes employment in the organization a desirable personal and social environment. 5. To reestablish the globally competitiveness of the prime manufacturing company. This case also seeks to answer the following questions. Why did the company appoint Mr. Rod as a human resource manager, given that his previous credentials had nothing to do with his current position? Why would 20% of female employees and 12% of male employees resign without a clear reason during a 3-month period?
Created using Powtoon.
So that was the video. I hope you all have enjoyed the video where it was being highlighted, how the personal manager is being, how he recruits the staff of an organization. And whenever there any issue comes up, how does he handle those situations, because it is very necessary to establish a sustainable work-life balance. Okay. So with that video and pre-classes, I conclude today's session. Thank you all of you.